Leon Guerrero, and the Director of the Bureau of Statistics and Plans. Thank you and welcome to our first Guam Crisis Intervention Program Advisory Board meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 26, 2024, and it is 9:07, and we are located here at the large conference room, Ricardo J. Berdalio Governor's Complex. This meeting is called to order, and first on the agenda, we want to do welcome and introduction. And I'll go ahead and begin first. Once again, welcome to the first Guam Crisis Intervention Program Advisory Board meeting, and thank you for all your time. My name is again Lola Leon Guerrero, the Director of the Bureau of Statistics and Plans. The Bureau's role for this advisory board is to provide administrative support to the board in developing the Guam State Crisis Intervention Program plan, budget, and the sub award. These are basically the sub-grantees. So just for a little brief information, we did apply for the grant application that was due in December 2022. So we took the initiative to go ahead and move forward on that. So maybe we can start with the community representative, Ms. Monique Baza.
Hi, Monique Baza, community representative. I am the Vice President of the Guam Family Business Center Alliance, but I am here in this capacity as a community representative. I'm here to meet with all of you guys and what we can do here is
Okay, my name is Louise Borja, and I'm serving as this is my second term as a victims advocate region president. And I know this is a serious issue, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say having summer camps, July 6th, on my calendar. Thank you.
Good morning, Danielle Renzetti, Court Administrator for the Judiciary of Guam. I'm here on behalf of our Chief Justice.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Lieutenant Archangel, Guam Police Department. I'm representing the chief.
Company, and good morning. My name is Amber Beneventi. I'm with the Office of the Attorney General. I'm here representing the.
Good morning and open everybody. My name is Valeria Gingsta. I'm a senior planner with the Bureau of Statistics.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica Guerrero. I'm the Chief Planner with the Bureau of Statistics and Plans.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Esther Camacho. I'm a planner with the Bureau of Statistics and Plans.
I'm Matt Santos, Deputy Bureau of Statistics.
Sonia Silvio, planner at Bureau of Statistics and Plans.
Agent planner at BSP.
Okay, the next on the agenda is the overview of the Burn State Crisis Intervention Program. Okay, the Burn State Crisis Intervention Program was created and funded by Congress in 2020 through 2022 through the Bipartisan Savers Community Supplemental Appropriation Act. Through grants awards from the U.S. Department of Justice, each state is allocated a share of the money based on population and crime rates. The goal of the FY 2022-2023 State Crisis Intervention Program is to prevent or reduce crime and violence with a particular focus on gun violence and the program and initiatives that target the risk factors. More specifically, the Burn State Crisis Intervention Program provides funding for the creation and or implementation of extreme risk protection order programs, state crisis intervention court proceedings, and related gun violence reduction programs and initiatives. The ERPO, or commonly referred to as red flag laws, is an effective measure to empower family members, healthcare providers, school officials, or law enforcement officers to petition a court to temporarily prevent a person from accessing firearms if they are found to be in danger to themselves or to others. So we're going to go ahead and we do have the Chief of Police and the Public Defender Services rep. Maybe we can do some introductions before we move on. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Stephen Lasher, the Chief of Police of the Guam Police Department.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Carol April Sanchez with Civil Law Center, but representing Public Defender.
Thank you. Now for the project objectives for the state crisis intervention programs is to expand the capacity of specialized treatment courts to assist clients most likely to commit or become victims of gun crimes, to expand technological supports and our telehealth initiatives to help families and patients navigate mental health and related systems and telehealth initiatives outside the hospital. To provide technology or information sharing solutions to inform when a prohibited person attempts to purchase a firearm. To provide law enforcement agencies to safely secure, store, track, and return relinquished guns and development. To provide for specialized training and to evaluate effectiveness of programs and initiatives in preventing violence and suicide and measures that safeguard the constitutional rights of individuals subject to a crisis intervention program or an ERPO initiatives. So the notice of the funding opportunity, which is why we're here, the FY 2023 Burn State Crisis Intervention Program formula solicitation was released on October 19, 2022. And the solicitation was due December 19, 2022. The solicitation combines funding from FY 2022 and FY 2023. Only states may apply for this solicitation, and state must designate a single state administrative agency that has the authority to apply for these funding. The Bureau of Statistics and Plan is the SAA for the state administrative agency for this grant, and we did submit and apply for the funds. The Bureau prepared and submitted the Guam State Crisis Intervention Program application in collaboration with our networking partners. And those are our partners that are here. It was with the Public Defender Services, the Office of the Attorney General, the Guam Police Department, also the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, as well as the Judiciary of Guam. So the application was submitted and the Bureau was awarded $644,469 on February 13, 2023. The period of performance for the FY 2023 grant is 48 months, and the grant started October 1st, 2022, and the grant end date is September 30, 2026. So one of the major requirements under this grant opportunity of the State Crisis Intervention Program is to form a diverse crisis intervention advisory board to inform and guide the state's related gun violence reduction program initiatives. And this is why we have the composition of the board here. So the Guam Crisis Intervention Program Advisory Board was created through Executive Order 2023-13 and was established on October 13, 2023. The requirement, as I mentioned, is the condition to receive funds from the State Crisis Intervention Program is to inform and guide jurisdictions in creating and implementing gun violence reduction programs and initiatives and other related programs. So the GCIP members, we have the Chief of Police, Guam Police Department. We have the Supreme Court of Guam designee. We also have the designee for the Office of the Attorney General, as well as the designee for the Public Defender Services Corporation. Also a member is the Director of the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center or designee. And then also the one community representative, and our community representative is Ms. Monique also. And then the other one is the President of Victims Advocate Reaching Out. So next on the agenda is, well, I guess it's the role of the advisory board. So the duties and responsibilities. To develop and submit to the Bureau of Justice Assistance for review and approval, the State Crisis Intervention Plan budget and sub-award list. To ensure that State Crisis Intervention Plan addresses the following, but not limited to extreme risk protection order that work to keep firearms out of the hands of people who pose a threat to themselves. Communication, education, and public awareness on the value of public safety benefits or ERPL laws and program, and promote the importance of effective implementation and enforcement, as well as program development and enhancement. Related court-based behavioral health, deflection, and gun safety programs or initiatives that include but are not limited to specialized court-based programs such as drug, mental health, and veterans treatment courts, including those that specifically accept clients with firearm violations. Behavioral health deflection for those at risk to themselves or others. and funding for law enforcement agencies to safely secure, store, track, and return relinquished guns such as gun locks and storage and development and or delivery or specialized training. Next one is evaluation of crisis intervention program to engage a research partner to evaluate the effectiveness of crisis intervention programs or ERPO initiatives in preventing violence and suicide and measures that have been taken to safeguard the constitutional rights of individuals subject to a crisis intervention program and or a ERPO initiatives. And the other duty and responsibilities is to provide biannual updates to the governor on the Guam Crisis Intervention Program Advisory Board's progress and spending plan. As I mentioned, the Bureau is the state administrative agency. So our role here is to administer the Burn State Crisis Intervention Grant Program, coordinate the SCIP funds among state and local justice initiatives, coordinate efforts to submit the SCIP application, coordinate efforts to submit proposals to guide the SCIP spending, administer the SCIP funds and monitor subrecipients' compliance with all the burn SCIP's special conditions and provision, and provide ongoing assistance to subrecipients. Monitoring subrecipients to ensure appropriate use of federal funds and implementation of program activities, and ensure that subgrantees are aware of and in compliance with all programmatic and financial rules under the State Crisis Intervention Grant Program. So now that we have the governor, we have the executive order that created this board. Now we would like to designate among the group chair and a vice chair. So just so everybody is aware, BSP will be providing support to the advisory board. We will be, basically we'll come together, whatever policies or initiatives proposed as a group. Then when it comes time to preparing a grant application, all of those initiatives will be incorporated and we would help support that effort. So the role, I'll just define what the role is of the chair, is to conduct and facilitate effective functioning of the Guam Crisis Intervention Program Advisory Board meetings, prepare the meeting agendas, and represent the GCIP Advisory Board at other meetings as needed. The role of the Vice Board Chair is to assist and support the GCIP Advisory Board Chair and to chair the GCIP Advisory Board meetings in the absence of the chair or requested to do so by the chair. So the floor is open to nominations if anybody wants to. And please keep in mind, our role here is to provide support to the advisory group. And the main staff that would be providing support would be Ms. Esther Camacho, along with Ms. Lily Urbiza.
In some of the other boards that I serve, if the person is not at the table, that's who we nominate.
Oh.
I'll nominate Chief
As a board chair?
yeah, as the chair.
I know.
Okay, so we have, Esther, did you get that? So.
The chief has been nominated.
Okay, that's right. As chair.
As the chair.
Yeah,
And then Carol the next,
Yeah.
okay.
You're like.
I'm a chair.
Okay, Carol,
The mighty,
it'll be Carol, the vice chair,
OB Public Defenders.
of the public, so do you, Chief, do you accept the nominees?
Yes. And
Okay.
it's like getting married.
And Carol, do you, on behalf of the public defender?
Yes, we will.
Because you are the public defender designee.
Yes, I am.
Gosh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everybody agrees to. All the lawyers. Oh, yeah. So can we say, all in favor for the chief to be, for the chair of the board and the public defender Carol as the vice chair. I'll say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Gosh, thank you so much. It was really very easy.
One more word.
Yeah. So the next thing on the agenda is to go, so as I mentioned, we did submit an application. And we did submit an application, the grant was awarded. And the application was prepared in partnership with most of the networking agencies that are here, which is, I mentioned, the courts, Guam Behavioral, GPD, Public Defender, and the Office of the Attorney General. Yes. You must have got nominated as the chair.
Don't worry, we didn't nominate you.
When you start running.
Hi, Rena, do you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself to the?
I am Rena Sanchez. I'm the clinical administrator for Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Okay,
Sorry, late.
great, thank you for joining us. Okay, so as I mentioned, next on the discussion is the proposed plan and budget for the FY 22-2023 Burn State Crisis Intervention Program Formula Grant. So as the state administrative agency, the Bureau can designate, allocate up to 10% of the total grant award. So we do have a budget. So the recipient award is $64,447. And then the sub-recipient award is $580,022 for the combined total of $644,469. So what we have here is this is the Bureau's proposed formula grant for the FY 22-2023 for the allocation, the line item allocation for the $64,447. So we wanted to get the board's approval for the proposed budget. And just so everybody is aware, although the board will approve the plan and the budget, we still need to basically, our role as a state administrative agency is we need to get the plan and the budget approved by BJA, our program manager. And so right now, the funds that was awarded to Guam is basically has not been obligated. We've got the awards, the grant awards is established. However, the funds are on hold until we have a board meeting, advisory board meeting to approve the plan and the budget. And then once that's vetted, we have documentation for that, then we would basically submit a grant award, federal authorization to a GAM, a grant award management on the just grants to get that getting approval. So we have here, I'm not sure if you guys had the opportunity to take a look at the line item budget. And really the proposed line item budget is to provide support to the Bureau of Statistics and Plans in administering the State Crisis Intervention Program. We did put down a local area network switch because we are having some challenges with our network here for the Bureau. So we do need to upgrade the equipment.
That's the proposed budget.
So this is the proposed budget for this, for the state of, this part is just the 10%.
Oh, I'm fine with this.
Okay, is everyone all in favor of the state administrative agency's budget?
Do you want me to make a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll just make a motion that I go ahead and approve This is just the state portion, 64,000, or you want to approve the entire?
No, it's not, this is just the essay, the 10%, yes. 10%, yes.
So I make a motion to, approve the 10%.
Anyone second? Okay. Thank you.
And
Okay.
Okay.
Now we have here, so what we have now is the proposed subrecipients line item budget. And for the first one, for the description is specialized court program, the subrecipient is the Judiciary Guam. The purpose is to address expanded capacity of specialized treatment courts received from mental health courts and the veterans treatment courts. So the request is for 2 SUVs at 60,000 and the total cost is 120,000. The next one is the law enforcement enhancement program. The proposed subrecipient is the Guam Police Department and the Judiciary Guam. And the purpose is to address equipment needs to secure, store, relinquish guns and for specialized training for law enforcement officers. This is for 20 vehicle vaults at $600 for a combined total of 12,000. 20 storage lockers at $800 for a combined total of 16,000. 100, which is 5 per pack gun locks at $60 for a combined total of 6,000. And the total safety equipment cost is 34,000. Within this description, there's also funding for 10 law enforcement officers from GPD and the marshals to attend training relevant to the state crisis intervention program. Airfare at 3,500 and it's 35,000. Lodging at 5 days. I guess daily per diem rate of 365 is 18,250. Registration fee at 1,200. Total combined total is 12,000, and for ground transportation at $75, which combined total is 750. So the total training cost is 66,000. So this request is 100,000. Next one is technology improvement programs. The proposed subrecipient is the Judiciary Guam. The purpose is to address expanded technological support and or telehealth initiatives to help navigate mental health and related systems. Is to upgrade the Guam APHIS web ID application at 38,150 for a new local NCIC interface software to convert the NEAM XML format. That's $153,616. And we budget also for inflation at 28,765, and the total budget here is 220,531. The next one, the next description is crisis intervention and case management. The proposed subrecipient is the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. And the purpose is to address expanded technological supports and or telehealth initiatives to help navigate mental health and related systems development of SMS platform or expand services offered by the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And the estimated budget for this is 100,000. We also included the evaluation of the program because that's one of the components under the SCIP grant requirements. This one, the purpose is support and evaluation of the program and activities funded with SCIP funds. And this is to engage a research partner to evaluate the effectiveness of the SCIP programs and initiatives in preventing violence and suicide. And this budget is $39,491,000. For combined total for the subrecipient is $580,2022.
Can I clarify one thing?
Yes.
Danielle, the 60,000, you're gonna get 2 vehicles. I'm assuming that's gonna be for marshal's use. Is it gonna include the vehicle holds at 600 each?
I think the vehicles are for probation, for veterans treatment court and mental health.
But will they have in case they have weapons? Is it gonna be like because they're getting vehicle holds for their vehicles. So if they seize weapons on your end, you guys need that as well.
That is the intent.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 60,000 includes that.
Yeah, so what we have here, the SUV. So this is the SUV would provide a safe transport for probation officers, as well as the mental health clients or individuals with potential mental health who are at risk of gun crime or for executing deflection and diversion strategies. The vehicle will ensure that community supervision is conducted regularly, such as monitoring participants' adherence to probation conditions and conducting a wellness check, home and employment visits, and that the mental health clients are provided opportunities to connect with the probation officer and case manager for support and connection to community, educational, and other support systems. The other SUV is for the Veterans Treatment Court. The SUV will be used by the VTC staff to provide a safe and consistent transportation assistance services to participants, including those most likely to get involved in gun crimes, assist participants in need in attending treatment session and case management meetings, conduct community field check supervision, and increase participants' engagement. So the SUV is the vehicle type needed for Guam's topography, which varies from paved road to undeveloped or substandard access points, such as dirt roads or uneven terrain. Additionally, the SUV will allow for more space, which requires a probation officer as heavily equipped when performing field duty, so that they're equipped when they go out onto the field.
So does that include the maintenance of the vehicles, or what will the maintenance of the vehicles be? Or that's like the purchase? I mean,
Well, the year's gonna be
rental vehicle.
a year.
And yeah,
Well,
and
not that includes the vehicle, because I'm just saying, you know, they're gonna do home checks.
Yeah.
And sometimes if there's weapons, they'll seize the weapons and put it in the home.
So the 60,000 there is for the purchase of the vehicle and the law enforcement package, but it's sirens. So the other purchase for the Volts,
Just
those
to include it.
vehicles will be equipped with the Volts. What is needed to provide safety for the officers and the individuals that are being transported. And also to ensure the safe, those guns are well secured in the event that they need to be confiscated.
Who represents the planning with this? Anybody come? So. I'm reading through the proposed budget. And so I just need to look at do some math here.
Okay.
We have other partners in the room, Farrell. And public defender. I don't see anything allocated for them.
If I may, Chief, I do want to report on the technology improvement program budget. The judiciary was able to identify funds to complete that, so we won't need to take money.
57% of the total of this program is going to the courts. I got 7%. All you're giving me is 5 guys to go to training. And maybe if I just divide half of the 34,000, and I understand we weren't at the table, but if this is the proposed budget, then we need to go back and rework this. Because there's other partners at the table.
So what we can do,
And if 57% is just going to one branch of the government. And yet you have, the other people at the table, what do they get up for their investment time in being here and being part of SKIP? And I understand that,
okay,
they didn't come to the table, but that doesn't mean that they needs to be excluded. What are we doing for Barrow? Because they're the ones that deal with the victims. We have 2 gun violence cases. The first 2 homicides committed this year involve guns. So how does the Guam Police Department benefit from this, and how are we serving the community if I get 7% of a program meant to address gun violence?
okay, so what we can do to address this.
I don't want to approve this budget.
Oh, okay, no.
Table it.
Okay, so what we can do is, we would send out a request for proposal, now that we have the group in place. We will send out a request for proposal for funding opportunities under the 2023 State Crisis Intervention Program.
Yeah.
And then from there, we would normally, I would give it possibly so that we can get something in, because the grant is technically slated to expire in September 2026. And there is opportunities to do an extension.
Yeah, so
So,
my recommendation as a chair, because I think for most of us, this is the first time we're seeing the
Okay.
proposed budget.
okay,
To table the discussion of the budget, submit your recommendations on what you want, whether you continue to support what's listed. And then the board or this group can vote on a new budget
okay,
next time. I just have some concerns when 57% goes to the judiciary, on only 15% to Guam Bureau of Health. And, 7% is going to the Guam Police
okay,
Department.
no, that's
So
fine.
that's hard
Yeah.
for not being at the table, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna be excluded from the budget.
Please, as noted, but please understand, there were time constraints with this grant program. We had to prepare the application
No, I
in
understand.
order to secure the funding. So we did the email to all our criminal justice stakeholders. We had a virtual meeting, representatives from the court, from behavioral attendant and public defender. Those are the ones that attended. There were conflicts of scheduling with Guam Police and the other stakeholders. But we had to put this proposal together just to secure solicitation and to meet the deadline of the solicitation.
But now that you've convened,
Yes.
I believe there's an opportunity again to.
Yes.
And that's why this particular grant program is very different from all our other grant
Yes.
programs. That it involves an advisory body, and this body drives the plan and the budget. So this is the whole reason today to explore the opportunities to move this grant program because of the time constraints again. And keep in mind, it's not only this, the 22-23, but the Bureau is also working on the 2024 solicitation. So that's again, pockets of money again that can be expanded in the direction again that this body wants to pursue.
So I think what we're gonna do is, I guess we'll make the motion to table the budget. And then have a second, we vote on that, and then what we'll do is we'll send out a request for proposal. We'll give, because also to Millie, which we're gonna chime in on the 2024 solicitation, it's also due in July.
So I have some of my staff from my federal program who do grant writing. So I have them look at the grant
Yeah.
and see how the Guam Police Department fits in. I know, hopefully we get some money to barrel into public defender as well.
Thank you, Chief, for, bringing up Barrow, and because at one point during this budget and looking at all these numbers, and I don't see anything for Barrow here, I'm wondering why I'm even sitting here at this table.
Yeah, you gotta have an investment in,
Yeah.
your time to be able to.
I mean, I understand that all of our supporters and stakeholders here are a very big part of Barrow's success, right? And the monies, could be justified, but I just wanted to find out, was anyone contacted through Barrow regarding any of the?
Yes, we sent out the emails and everything, but there was, like I said, representatives that were on that virtual or judiciary, behavioral and.
Well, I just want to make sure that when I bring this back to the board and people managing our grants, that, at least they're aware that there was a situation that happened, or at least a meeting that happened prior to me sitting here at this table.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the top of my head, I love to get the van for her.
Yeah.
There's something because they're always transporting domestic violence
Yeah,
victims.
absolutely.
Who are involved in crimes and, where the use of a gun, is present.
Well, and then safeguards for them as well, like for the advocates, like they're first responders just as well as the GP advocates, so they should have some form of some part of this budget as well.
Keep in mind, please, that when we do project solicitation, it has to meet the parameters and the requirements of the
Yes.
program.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna bring up is, I think this grant, there's a lot of burn grants, so this one's very specific, right? To
Yes.
save prices
Yes,
involving mental health and veterans. So when you look at your stats, you wanna make sure that you're gonna back whatever you're asking for up with that, because some agencies may not get those, we have gun violence in every situation, but if it doesn't, and I guess you can think mental health all the time, but.
You can request for anything under the sun, but again, all of our grant programs require performance
Yes.
measures.
Right.
So the data needs to support whatever proposal that you're gonna put on the table. Because we have had situations where we funded projects, the data does not support it. So there's really, to make your time worth it and the money to be used the way it's supposed to be used, you need to submit proposals that meet the criteria where performance measures can be collected and reported. This grant program is very different from everything else. Performance measures are very complicated and there are certain requirements for the collection of data.
So when you talk about veterans, could it also expand to like dependents of veterans
No.
who would fall under that?
So what we would,
Umbrella?
it would be veterans court.
Yeah, they wouldn't fall into that.
Yeah, so what we would do, is make that, someone makes the motion, we vote on it, the group votes on it. Then I will state what our next course of action is going to be. So we,
And I guess Danielle too, I mean, when I'm looking at it, my position too is I know like, the technology improvement isn't just for the court, it's gonna impact the other law enforcement agencies, cause they access it and utilize it. So although it's saying the court, you know, it's not necessarily just going to the court. It's going to improve the system that's accessed by all law enforcement agencies, including the Attorney General's office.
You know, and I'm glad you mentioned that. And let me just give you a story that just happened yesterday.
Oh, man.
And actually, it's something I was working with Danielle. We had an individual who has a domestic violence conviction and also other felony convictions. Unfortunately, the Guam Police Department, because we were just receiving papers for these convictions, nobody ever properly received it, and nobody ever entered it into our record system at the Guam Police Department. And this person was given a non-concealed and concealed and was able to register 9 new firearms. Right? A convicted felon, okay? So we're working now with ATF, you know, to correct this issue, but you know, when we talk about the $220,000 for NCIC and all that, you know, maybe we can look at how we can improve the Guam Police Department, you know, who issues firearms and registers firearms. How can we keep guns out of dangerous felons under this grant, right? So how do we get timely notifications of these convictions?
It'd be nice to fill out.
Two things on that, Chief, I made the judiciary, the project that was identified, the 220,000, we've already identified federal funds, so this could be, you know, we could decide if we wanted to use it for something else, we would not be seeking this.
Yeah, and as I said, my proposal is, you know, because we just convened now for the first time.
yes,
Give the members maybe at least 1 month, come back, let's determine a date to come back in a month with a proposal on, you know, what the budget is gonna be that fit within the parameters of the grant.
okay, so I think go ahead, Manny.
I just had a question with all of the technology improvement programs that you guys are proposing. Does that include training? Does that include somebody who's gonna actually be there to input all of the information and kind of link all of the law enforcement agencies together?
So,
I mean, it seems like it's disconnect between.
so technically, I have not been attending the CJAC meeting, and maybe I should be attending the CJAC meeting. The whole idea was FERNJAC funding since 1992 was instrumental in setting up different systems for the different law enforcement. And I'm to the understanding we're supposed to have a CJAS system that connects GPD's AGIS, DOC's ACMIS, the court system, as well as the AG system. But I guess with the, disposition records, because I just heard records was not received. And I thought that would be done electronically, so I guess we just need to address that. Yeah,
So we found out that
we just need to address that on another.
the chief's office stamped the conviction, but for some reason it didn't make it down the record, so it's being delivered to the wrong place.
So I think what we need to do now is we just need to make the motion, first and second, a vote that we're gonna go ahead and table And then I can go ahead on the next discussion for the request for proposals. So,
Yeah, so I make a motion to table the budget proposal,
okay,
provide it 1 month and come back in a month with a new budget proposal from the members.
okay. Okay. Okay, so that's it. And then, so what's gonna happen is we will send out a request for proposal for the FY 2022-2023 budget. And today is, let's see, don't have a calendar. 26. Yeah, so we're looking at possibly, can I see your calendar? Okay, so we're gonna go to July. So what we're gonna do is we should send out our request for proposal by next week with the anticipation submission of proposals by, I'm gonna go with July 30.
It's also time.
Yeah, it's a separate thing. Yeah. July 30. So July 30 would be the proposal submission date. So what we would do is we would send out, we would give you the NOFO. Along with the NOFO, we'll also send us a request for proposal format.
That's our deadline to submit.
Yeah, it'll be July 30. Now, so I'm gonna go, we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next process here. So I'm just going for the administrative process, the state crisis and the program plan and budget must be approved by BJA post-award via grants award modification, and that's what I mentioned earlier, but we do need the board to vet the plan and the budget. So right now the motion is to table the 22-23 budget, and we're gonna revisit this, and we will probably revisit the budget possibly in August. Because what we would need to do is compile everything and then what we will probably do is send it to everybody maybe a week in advance of the meeting so everybody can go over each line item and see if they're in support. So, and then
Our proposal should follow. Right, so in other words, whatever the plan is up until 2026.
Yes. So, and then, as I mentioned, authorization, all sub awards must be authorized by BJ post award. The 644,000 has not been obligated, but we did hear that, the board did, concur with moving forward on the 10% of the BSP's administrative costs, just not on the subrecipient costs. So what I would like to address with the board, because BSP handles the administrative process. And we don't have a budget right now because we're going to revisit that. But what I would like to do is get the consensus from the board. Is the board in support when there is re-budgets? Just it's within scope. Is there support from the board for BSP to just go ahead and handle that administratively? And then we can email you of what the proposed budget modification. Keep in mind, we don't vet anything. BSP doesn't vet anything when it comes to budget modification. We receive the request, but then we would need to submit the request to the grantor and they vet it. The same token with the budget for the 22-23. Once we do the call out and we get the submission come July 30 and then we approve it in August, then the final course of action is our program manager will need to approve it through the grant awards management system. So I want to ask the board, are you in support of the Bureau handling the administrative when it comes to budget modifications? Can we go ahead and the BSP take the discretion to handle that and then provide emails to the board members of what the proposed modification that came from the agency, and then we submit it over to BJA to the grants and management portal.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Okay, so are you in support of this? I second? Okay,
I second.
okay, thank you. Second. Carol, can I step you through? So now so we now have an FY 2024 solicitation. So our FY 24 solicitation is due July 29. So anyways, so keep in mind, 22-23, we did meet the deadline for that. The grant was submitted. So now we're gonna revisit the budget modification for that, the proposed plan. So the 22-23, we're gonna get proposed projects by July 30. Now for the July 2024, what I would like to do, just because we were just informed of this grant notice, and we have started the application process. So it would be great. We're gonna go ahead and send out a notice also if we can get, but this one we would need to submit it at least, if it's due on the 29th, at least a week before the submission deadline. If we can get proposed, or actually no, I'm gonna say 2 weeks before the submission deadline to get proposed project applications for this grant, the 24.
We usually submit applications 72 hours in advance. Because the system that we're working with is really unreliable right now. And it takes quite a bit of time just to upload an application. So we do that because of any technical challenges. We then have the opportunity to make contact to the help desk, make our concerns aware, and for them for consideration to continue to open that solicitation until those issues are ironed out or the application is successfully submitted.
And then keep in mind with the federal award amount to Guam for 2024 is $370,436. And BSP would also put in a budget request for 10% for the administrative costs to handle the grant aspect. So two things, it would be the submission of proposals for the 22-23, which is July 30 deadline. But if we can kindly get also proposals for the 24 solicitation. And, you know, because basically the proposal is gonna drive the application. So we will need to get that at least. I mean, I would want to ask something like maybe the second week of July, get something from the group.
So this 374,36 less 10% for BSP.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes,
This is what we have to work.
yes, it's another, yes.
And you'll also create like specific line items
yes.
for the 10% that.
Yes, yes. Which normally we might just, if it's 37,000, we would probably just do the same thing. But of course, take out the equipment. It'll be just for administrative, such as Xerox, lease, paper, file folders. And so, but that would be vetted in our next meeting. And what I would like to do is because the other thing too, if we don't have a meeting, well, we're gonna have to, because it's due on July 29th, we're gonna have to have a meeting possibly for the 2024.
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to set the date and also the announcement has to be in the newspaper.
Yeah.
So part of the 10% was for the ad. It's for the ad.
Yeah,
So
so-
whenever we have a board meeting, we have to do 5 days in publication and 48 hours.
So the date would be what, or?
So if we do July 14 or July 15. So we have 5 working days prior to July 15. That it has to be announced on the paper.
Let's see. So the application is due July 29th.
But if you want this to,
We need to have a meeting by the 23rd or the 23rd,
No, but the application.
the 29th.
You should do it earlier because they need to upload it.
yeah.
On the 23rd.
No, it's due on the 29th.
Can we take some of the proposals that are already submitted? And, you know, if Chief is talking about increasing maybe a percentage of the budget for the police department, maybe use that proposal for this period of time and the rest move over to the 2024. That way we're not working that hard to do all of these submittals. So you know, you have your 2020, 2023, 2023, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 proposals.
I'm gonna leave it to the advisory group to make that decision. So what can happen is, another option is, well, we know the application is due on the 24th. So, I mean, on the 29th. So I'm just gonna leave it to the chief and his team. But we still need that evaluation.
So it's my understanding though, based on Danielle's statement that there's 220,000 available, so that's why we.
Not be asked.
That's why we, so we still need.
So we still need to-
Budget. Because now the 220,000 is a bit freed up,
The 22, 23.
but then now we're also having to address the
The 24th.
budget
I
application.
think Venus' suggestion is that, so that we don't have to be creative, come up with something for the 24 budget, if we look at some of the proposals. Perhaps for GPD, like whatever is there, expanding that perhaps.
Yeah.
In your proposals, you're not reinventing the wheel and shut the
I
session.
just thinking about, if we can just get some time to read the grant, just to see what the proposals are. And if you need to shorten the timelines, to be.
Yeah, then maybe what we can do then is, I mean, can we just then all agree for the 22, 23, and the 24 to get the proposal
In 2 weeks.
submission, yeah, in 2 weeks?
I agree to that. I mean, I think that's,
What the date is?
and I'm looking at, so these descriptions that you put, like, is that, are those things that were embedded within the grant, like technology and?
Yeah, yes.
So we're gonna have to keep that section there, and I actually, my concern is, I think that area needs to be there, and the allocation of that fund should be utilized for that, because I'm thinking like, we're talking about remote and tele, Guam Behavior has their JIGWIC unit at Department of Corrections. So they utilize a lot of Zoom for hearings. So the improvement's gonna be across the board from the courts, to have access to that, because I know there's some issues with DOC's Zoom sometimes. And I think it was funded by, it might have been
And I think,
funded
but that's what
also.
we're talking about though, because the judiciary doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah,
We can now shift it to DOC, or I mean.
yeah, or even like,
To another purpose.
even breaking it down for.
Still
Yeah.
with technology, but within another purpose.
Correct, yeah.
And just so everybody is aware, so we have the board, and the whole purpose of the board, it was just recommendation and the solicitation of what the composition of the board is going to be. But the extension for application submittal is not just specific to the members here. It's actually, but just as long as it's open, but as long as it aligns with the purpose of the grant program. So that's key.
So can I ask you if you're able to designate it to a particular agency that will be able to break it into like, so let's say you give it to the courts, right? And then they're able to say, we're gonna provide this much for technology to GPD of the 220, and this much is gonna go to DOC for improvement, or does it have to be specific to an agency that's not here?
Well, we do know, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a call out. We're just gonna do a call out for the 22, 23, and the 24 with a plan for submission of the proposal in 2 weeks. So what is our 2 weeks date?
July 10th.
July 10th. Now, we know that through the Criminal Justice Automation Commission, the CJAC, that's the Judiciary Guam oversees and funding opportunities they also have their NCHIP funds that also support that. So now if there's anything, and then with our other grant opportunities under the Edward Burge Act, we also support the Adult Correctional Management Information for, right now DOC is upgrading their system. So it's a coordinated effort, with judiciary is actually for to me, which I would like to discuss on the side, is supposed to be the integration of all the criminal justice agency, DOC, AG, GPD, and the judiciary. But I hear that there's some challenges going on right now. So what we can do is if everybody agrees, we can get proposals submitted by July 10th.
That's Wednesday.
And then we'll plan to meet on possibly July 23rd to vet the proposal, but we give it, because we're gonna have to compile everything. Prepare the applications and then give it to the group prior to the meeting so that it's vetted prior to.
Just a quick question. So the RFPs is not just going out to the agencies that are here at the table, they're going out
No,
to.
normally it go, yeah, for any entity that'll be relevant.
Our acting director, deputy director, and myself are gonna be off island on the 23rd.
Will
Okay,
it be an in-person or virtual?
we can do virtual. I mean, that's the other conversation we wanted to find out if we're able to. Is this group also amenable to having virtual meetings versus in person? Because we do have challenges with getting space to have the meetings. And because it is the board, we have to follow the public notice for the meetings. And we also have, right now it's virtual, the meeting's going, it's live. Yes, it's live stream. So, is the group in support of having virtual meetings?
Are you guys able to support virtual meetings?
Yes,
Yeah.
to this,
Motion.
make a motion, please.
Emotions online.
Thank
I make a motion to have our meetings moving forward virtual.
you.
Yeah, and also with the option that if we need to convene in person, that we will.
Okay.
So the 7/23 meeting will be virtual.
Yes,
And the forum's gonna be Zoom, right? Is it Zoom?
yes. And we would send you the plan and the application
Prior to the.
prior to. As long as we receive everything by July 10th.
We can have the guidelines too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna push to have that sent out by no later than Monday. Okay. So, thank you. Lily's name, the point of contact, it's Lily's name, Lily Urquiz's name should be up there. So, so you can connect with Esther, Millie, you can also connect with me, and I can see what support I can provide to all of you guys.
And I guess the number's the same, right, as we can call it 472.
Yes, everybody knows. And does anyone want to make the motion to?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. The meeting is now adjourned.
So long as you submitted what you're supposed to submit, okay.
I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow we are having our Burn JAG stakeholder meeting for the 23-2025 Burn JAG strategy.
CID will be there, and the representative from GPD's program section.
Okay, thank you. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.